like that. Fun stuff. Diversion being there. All these little dudes around here, yeah, they're real great. They're wine flies. They're pests, and they can't hurt you. They won't hurt you. They're just here to annoy. So, just to let you know.
We've seen them
Don't be
all,
afraid.
yeah.
After harvest, you know, they kind of linger. So, anyway, any more questions about these guys here? We've got bigger ones over here. This one for here. This is Californito. A lot. Yeah. Okay, a lot. Yeah, that's all going to go right there. It doesn't say how much it is. 12,700 gallons. Wow. 15,000.
That's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, tell me about it. That's a couple of nights of partying. A couple. Well, carefully, a couple. Yeah, feel free to stick your head in there. I won't be held responsible for anything that happens.
Where's Patrick?
You're good. So, a little more info about the winery. Our premier wine is called La Vita. It's a big blend of those three northern Italians that I told you about, the Reposco, Nebbiolo, and Dolcetto. La Vita is the big, robust red that we have. That's the one that'll lay down for, 10 or more years. That's the 50th anniversary gift that you're going to get your parents, kind of wine, So that's a really good one, really earthy, real gnarly. That one, so this goes along with your question earlier. The La Vita, typically we barrel and leave in the barrels for up to 3 years, and then we'll bottle them and leave them in the bottles for 2.5 years. So that's a 5+ year endeavor right there. Each bottle of La Vita goes through about 5 years of just dating. They really do put a lot into that stuff. And I mean, a lot goes into wine. It's not just, you make the juice, you crush the juice, and you put it in a barrel. It's a lot more than that. There's a lot of yeast, there's a lot of sulfur, there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of checking, really. They check those barrels periodically and make sure that the pH is doing well. If it's too acidic, it's not going to come out right. You're not going to want to drink something that's too acidic. It'll burn your mouth. If it's too, if it's not acidic enough, it'll taste like soap. So it really does take a lot of effort, and you really want to stick with it. If you plan on being a winemaker. But so yeah, a lot of stuff goes into it. Any questions about that?
So the year that's on a bottle, is that the year that it goes into the barrel, or is that the year it goes into the bottle?
That's a really good question. It's actually the year that the grape was picked.
Oh.
So yeah, if it's an 06, that means these grapes are picked in 06. So that's how you know. And pretty much from the field to the barrel or this guy, it's a matter of, a week or two. It goes pretty quick. They bring them out to the winery, they crush them, they put in all the stuff, the yeast and the sulfur and sugar, if they add sugar, anything like that. And then they'll throw them in the barrels or this guy pretty quickly, just to get it going. As well as anyone else, juice, especially if not kept refrigerated, which is not going to be out there in the crusher, which I'll show you after this. It won't last long by itself if it's not refrigerated or taken care of. So you got to go quick with that stuff. Especially because of those fun little flies in there. So continue on with the little barrel spot. And I'll tell you some stuff about the barrel itself. So this is our next barrel room here. this is where more of the higher end wines we have are kept. As you can tell, we actually just purchased a bunch of new barrels. You can see those ones are still wrapped in plastic. So if they still have that kind of new age look, it's because they're new age.
You buy them all the way from France?
We'll get them from anywhere, yeah. If we need, you know, the thing about barrels is that we get them from all over the place. If you want to look down through here, you can see some of them. This is the American row. We get them from Missouri, different states, different countries, like France, Lebanon, other European countries.
Does it make a difference?
It actually does. I'll tell you why. The different trees, the different wood, the different oak, moreover, has different effects on the wine, especially with white wines. Like I said, usually white wines won't find themselves in barrels like these, but whites like Chardonnays, which have that oaky kind of, can have that oaky kind of flavor. American oak would be really good for oaky shards because that really, conveys that oaky flavor. The more buttery shards, and when you talk to someone who actually knows what they're talking about, unlike myself, they'll probably say something like malolactic, and that speaks more towards how it was fermented. And usually when you hear malolactic and Chardonnay, that's talking about the buttery texture of a Chardonnay. If you've ever heard of like, oh, this is a real buttery shard, they're talking about this shard has that texture because it was fermented a specific way. I don't know where the term malolactic comes from. It's malolactic. Sorry, I'm not really pronouncing it right. But I know that I really like buttery shards. They're really interesting. If you've never tried them, go for it. They're pretty cool. So there are many different aspects that different oaks can lend to things like Chardonnay or other reds. Buttery, oaky for one. If you were to try some of our bigger reds, like say the Levita, that has a real big oaky, earthy kind of flavor to it. Also, it lends a lot to the aroma. Some wineries will actually just add wood chips into the barrel, into the wine itself, to make it more woodsy, more oaky. Especially different types of wood. Some wineries will even go as far to throw in leather into their wine, or tobacco or anything like that to get that essence or that flavor in there. And sometimes it does well. I don't know. I think that's kind of gnarly, but do what you can, do what you will. I don't think we go as far to do wood chips. I think we do, or we have done wooden slats. So we'll have wooden inserts in there, just kind of like, rows of wood in there that does the same thing as wood chips would do.